One sharp, brutal bang, that's what snapped me awake that morning, you know? Not the sun, not the birds, just that sound. You ever notice how 1 second your world is soft and pink and ordinary, and the next, it's carved in half? That was the day my neighborhood, supposedly the safest, richest part of the city, turned into a crime scene. And I became the story. Yeah, that happened. See, I wasn't some lost jogger or an unlucky stranger, but Lena Handsome, black, 40, 6 feet tall in heels, FBI badge burning a hole in my purse, career built on never flinching, never folding. That Tuesday, I'd slipped on my best black suit, pressed silk shirt, matching pumps, the kind of outfit you wear when you're about to brief a roomful of men who'd rather you didn't exist, much less outrank them. My house, that big stone villa with the iron gate, was supposed to be my sanctuary, years of busting my ass, saving every dollar, fighting tooth and nail for respect. But all that ended up as the backdrop to a crime scene. Me, flat on my back, blood soaking the grass, staring up at the sky that looked way too blue for what had just happened. Let me back up a sec. Morning started normal. I'm standing outside, scrolling through emails, waiting for my ride black SUV. No markings, standard FBI issuant. I see this local cop cruising by. Victor McMillan. Name probably means nothing to you, but to me, he was trouble the minute I caught him staring. White, mid-40s, heavy set, chip on his shoulder bigger than his badge. He parks right in front of my house, see no lights. No siren at first, then flicks on the reds and blues, just to be dramatic. Hey lady, what are you doing here? You live here. That's the first thing out of his mouth. Not good morning, not can I help you? Just that. His hand is already on his gun, which, by the way, is not normal when someone's just standing at their own gate. I kept it cool. Years in the bureau will teach you that, or it'll kill you. Good morning, officer. This is my home. I'm waiting for my ride. I even offered to show my ID, kept my hands where he could see them. He didn't buy for a second. You expect me to believe that? Show me proof now. Nobody like you lives around here. Yeah, you know what he meant. He starts with the questions, then the insults, asks where I got the money, if I'm laundering for some drug cartel. Calls me a liar, straight up, right there in front of my own house. I could feel the anger simmering, but I'm thinking if I let this escalate, he's got all the power and the gun. So I stay calm, ask if I'm being accused of something, if he's got probable cause. He hates that. His face goes red, he's shouting, waving his hands, calling me bitch now, saying I look like a suspect, probably a criminal. I start to step back, thinking I need space, need to call my team, but the second I move, his gun is out, aimed right at me, and I swear, for a heartbeat, I wondered if I'd ever see my mother again. He's screaming, "Don't move. Hands up." His voice is shaking, and maybe mine was too. I did as he said, raised my hands, kept my eyes locked on his. Officer, I'm unarmed. Please, let's handle this like professionals. Maybe I thought he'd listen. Maybe I just needed to hear myself say it. But he didn't listen. And when I reached just a little slow as I could for my phone to call backup, he fired. One shot. Felt like someone took a branding iron and shoved it through my gut. I dropped. Everything went red. Could barely breathe, but I saw his face, shock, confusion, but also something uglier like pride. That's when my team showed up. Carter, Davies, the whole detail feed bin just around the corner. SUV screeched up. Doors flew open. Agents poured out, guns drawn, shouting, "Federal agents. Drop your weapon." It all happened in a blur, but I remember the look on McMillan's face, the panic, the sudden realization that he hadn't just shot a random woman. He'd shot an FBI supervisory agent, someone who outranked every cop in that neighborhood by miles. He tried to bluster, then the gun slipped from his hand and clattered to the pavement. My team was on him in a second, cuffed, disarmed, face down on the asphalt, no mercy. I saw Carter's eyes, burning holes through McMillan, voice shaking with rage. "Do you have any idea who you just shot?" Yeah, he knew. By then, the sirens were everywhere, ambulances, backup, news vans, you name it. Hospital, surgery, weeks of pain, and rehab fits what came next. But I never stopped working the case, even from my hospital bed. Gave my statement, every detail, his words, his attitude, that look in his eyes when he decided I didn't belong. FBI swept in, took over the investigation. Every inch of the scene was picked clean for evidence. Every second of video reviewed. Turns out, McMillan had a long history of complaints, warnings, always brushed off. Guess he never expected to shoot the wrong suspect. Trial was a circus media everywhere, protesters outside. But the evidence was too strong, the cameras didn't lie, and neither did my scars. McMillan's lawyer tried to spin it, said he was afraid for his life. Jury didn't buy it. After weeks of testimony, after I wheeled myself into that courtroom and looked him right in the eye, they came back guilty on all counts. Sentencing was public, brutal, and honestly strangely satisfying. 28 years. No chance of parole, all his benefits stripped. Judge even made him pay for my medical bills $350,000. I heard people say it was too harsh, others say it wasn't enough. What do you think? Does any number of years or dollars fix what happened? You tell me. But here's the part nobody wants to talk about: how close it all came to going another way. If my team had been a minute later, if I hadn't kept my hands up, if that camera hadn't caught everything, how many times does it go wrong for someone who doesn't have an FBI badge, doesn't have backup, doesn't survive? You know what I mean? My scar is still the rail line that'll fade, but never disappear. Some days it burns, some days I run my finger over it and remember every face in that courtroom. I went back to work because that's who I am. I became the symbol of what happens when you don't back down, but the truth is, I was just lucky. Luck and backup, that's all that stood between me and a headline nobody remembers a week later. So what's justice? Is a prison sentence? A paycheck? Or is it making sure this never happens again to anyone? If you ask me, real justice means facing the ugly stuff head on, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it means calling out your own. So you tell me what you think. Was it enough? Should the system change? Or are we just putting Band-Aids on bullet wounds? Would love to hear if you believe we can build a society where nobody has to pray for luck just to make it home alive.